John chapter 2. On the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Both Jesus and his disciples were called to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." Jesus said to her, "Woman, what have I to do with you? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Whatever he says to you, do it." And there were 6 water pots of stone setting there, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus said to them, "Fill the water pots with water." And they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Draw some out now, and give it to the governor of the feast." And they drew it out. And when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and didn't know where it came from, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Every man sets out good wine at the beginning, and when men have consumed it, then that which is worse. But you have kept the good wine until now." This beginning of miracles Jesus did in Cana of Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After this he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they continued there a few days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers of money, and overthrew the tables, and said to them that sold doves, "Take these things, don't make my Father's house a house of merchandise." And his disciples remembered that it was written, "The zeal of your house has eaten me up." Then the Jews answered him and said to him, "What sign do you show us, seeing that you do these things?" Jesus answered and said to them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Then the Jews said, "This temple was 46 years in the building, and you will rear it up in 3 days?" But he spoke of the temple of his body. After, when he had risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this to them, and they believed the Scripture and the word which Jesus had said. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover in the feast day, many believed in his name, when they saw the miracles which he did. But Jesus did not commit himself to them, because he knew all men, and didn't need the testimony of man, for he knew what was in man.